Dr. Rice, thank you very much indeed for having this short but special interview with PAL Media. Dr. Rice, why the U.S. administration insists of creating the Mid-East Conference at this particular time? What's the justification of this such a conference?
Well, it's always difficult in the Middle East. There's never any perfect time because if there had been a perfect time, I think we would have resolved the Israeli-Palestinian conflict a long time ago. But there is a sense in which the parties seem to want to move toward the establishment of a state. Prime Minister Omar and President Abbas have been having these very important, very frequent discussions, and they've now decided that perhaps they can put into a joint document some of the understandings about how they might move forward toward a Palestinian state. But the real answer is that I think the international community, the regional players, also understand that this is a time to try to move forward. After all, the Palestinian people have waited a long time for the dignity that is going to come with their own state. The Israeli people have waited a long time for the security that is going to come from having a democratic neighbor, and so that's why.
Are you optimistic?
I'm guardedly optimistic that we have a lot of goodwill, that confidence is growing between the parties. But of course, it's a long road ahead, and we're just going to have to work very, very hard, and everybody's going to have to work from a basis of goodwill.
Dr. Rice, what are the core issues that will be discussed in the summit, in the conference?
Well, all of the core issues have to be discussed that will lead to the establishment of a Palestinian state. They're all outlined in the roadmap. They're all outlined in every document about the Palestinian-Israeli issue.
Is Jerusalem the capital of the Palestinian state?
Well, certainly you're going to have a discussion of in some fashion of the so-called big three issues. But there are other issues that also have to be examined. Security. How will the security concept work between a Palestinian state and the state of Israel? Economic relations need to be discussed. But of course, we believe that this has to be a complete look at all of the issues. It's only fair to say that a joint document or a meeting in a few months here are not going to resolve the big issues of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. But certainly they need to be addressed.
The joint statement, is it a must or condition, U.S. condition, before going to the summit?
Well, we haven't set any conditions for the meeting, but I certainly think it would be helpful if the parties are able to say how they see a basis for moving forward. Because after all, the international meeting, any conference cannot substitute for the parties themselves carrying out this work. And so what a joint document would do, a joint statement would do, is that it would show that the parties themselves are ready to grab hold of this issue and work toward the establishment of a Palestinian state. It would really show us that we have a foundation for negotiations toward a Palestinian state.
Dr. Rice, do you think both leaderships, Israeli and Palestinians, are ready enough or strong enough at this time to make substantial concessions or to make strategical decisions?
Well, one reason that we are doing this in the measured way that we are is that these discussions between President Abbas and Prime Minister Olmert have already moved forward the consensus in both places, I think, that there is something going on. There is possibly some basis. I believe that the international conference could add the voices of the regional actors and of the international community to the belief that something is possible here. Now, it's still going to come down to very tough bargaining because both sides have had long-held positions. We have had over many years movement on those positions. We have had many different attempts to make peace that have perhaps showed that there is a path, a narrow path to be sure, but a path that could lead to the establishment of a Palestinian state. So I think we have a chance.
Dr. Rice, would you prefer a united Palestinian government to join or to attend the conference?
Well, eventually, you want the widest possible Palestinian representation, but that representation ought to be representation that believes that a two-state solution is possible. And in order to believe that a two-state solution is possible,